Blog Talk Radio.
Franchise pros, Stan the Man, Paul Segreto. Time to show you the way of franchising today. Hey, do you possess the spirit of an entrepreneur? Wanna lay your business plan down like a rug or a floor? Or maybe you have a dream of opening a chain of delis, or whatever passion lights that pilot light under your belly. Or do you want to start a business, fam, using the proven trademark from another brand? And grow together and expand like a rage of fire, from a single to a multi-unit empire. Well, pay attention to this podcast that you hear streaming in HD, so fine-tune both of your ears. And Stan and Paul lays down the law. Whether you want to be a franchisee or a franchisor, it's all about sustainable growth, the sensible franchising, proven concepts, and smart enterprising. So use your left and right side of your brain and absorb this knowledge here, franchising today. Badlands, baby. Franchising today. Sustainable growth, the sensible franchising. Franchise today. Sustainable growth, the sensible franchising. Franchise today. Franchise today. Franchising today. Yeah.
Hello, everyone in the franchise world. My name is Paul Segreto, and this is Franchise Today. Today is Wednesday, April 11th. I am reporting live from the beautiful city of the Woodlands, Texas, with just a great spring day. And my co-host, Stan Friedman, I imagine now, is firmly planted on the ground after several weeks at 30,000 feet. Stan, welcome back to Earth.
Oh, it's good to be back, Paul. And, boy, the trip home was really different. I've never been on a Delta jet before where a passenger on the way to the laboratory fell flat on the floor. And, I mean, we thought she died. Good news was she probably had a little too much to drink before she got on the plane and dehydrated. But she, walking down the aisle, she just went boom, down. I said, oh, boy, this is not a good way to have I hate red eyes to start with. This is just not good. I was looking at the map at where we were in flight and thinking they're going to probably land us in DFW and we're not going home this morning. But, boy, it all turned out well in the end. And it was a great show.
Well, that was great. And I imagine, are you talking about the multi-unit franchise show, or are you talking about the lady on the ground?
That was cold, Paul. Multi-unit was terrific. It was I had a really good time. Couldn't make enough time to have conversations with all the people that I wanted to talk with, which to me is always the best indicator of a really good show. And sometimes, you look at head count and think you need to have more people. It's like leads. You don't need more leads. You just need more opportunities. And the people out there were a great group of franchisors and multi-unit franchisees. A lot of serious business done by a lot of serious people. And thanks again to Therese and Gary and Diane Phibbs, the entire Franchise Update Media Group, for the tremendous job they do putting on these expos and shows and publishing the books and magazines that they put out. Some of my favorite people in franchising, Paul.
They are great people, and, on that team, too, I want to give a personal shout-out to Ben Foley. Ben has been with Franchise Update for quite a while, and the restructuring that he's done with their site, franchising.com, I got to tell you, he's done wonders with it. And so my hat's off to Ben. Great job.
Yeah, Ben was good enough to draw me into a picture with he and franchisor Ty Law, former defensive player for the New England Patriots as a franchisor, and he was exhibiting out there and kind of had a picture taken with both Ty and with Ben at the Expo on Friday. It was a great program.
I was wondering if you were going to take up on my segue there.
Well, you gave me a meatball, Paul. So what do I do when somebody throws me a meatball?
There.
I get a meatball. I eat it. That's the way I roll.
So, give us some tidbits in the world of franchising, because we got two exciting guests on the air today.
Yeah, and we won't take too much time from them here in the front of the house, but talking about great events. we had a great event here in Atlanta yesterday as the Southeast Franchise Forum's quarterly co-hosted program with the Franchise Business Network IFA. We had a great luncheon yesterday. Probably had 150, maybe more, in attendance to come out and hear from somebody that we all respect and admire. Cheryl Batchelder, former CEO of Popeyes, was our guest and talking about her book Dare to Serve and servant leadership, and how Popeyes under her leadership became a very franchisee-centric organization, and that the recognition of the entire leadership team was that we are here to serve franchisees, and they are here to serve their customers, our total customer base. But Dare to Serve is a great publication, and in an hour's time, Cheryl was a fantastic speaker, had everybody riveted to her every word. So we want to thank her for being with us yesterday. And a reminder for those who are in the Atlanta area, Tuesday, May 8th is the next Southeast Franchise Forum meeting. It's a breakfast meeting, so it's only for Franchise Forum members. But FRM's own Cassidy Ford is going to be speaking, so if anybody's in town and wants to be my guest, just give me a shout. We can probably figure something out. Also, Paul, wanted to call out 7-Eleven for doing something for the second time 2 years in a row. They're giving away a franchise to a woman entrepreneur. This is a great program that's got a dollar value as high as $190,000 for the qualified applicant that can take home the bacon. But you can learn more about this incredible program by checking it out on the IFA's Franchising Gives Back. There's a link to it up there, or you can go to w.e.take-the-lead and just Google search that, and it will bring you to the program, all the qualifications, all the stipulations and things that you have to do to be a part of that program. But, thank heaven for 7-Eleven. They're doing great things with entrepreneurship and franchising. I want to also call out our good friend Mike Drum, who's got a byline article in the Franchise World talking about one of the most important things a franchisor should pay more attention to, and that's protecting your marks, protecting your trademarks. And Mike's got a great article, an entertaining read about a very important subject. And lastly, Paul, I want to call out Budget Blinds, Tailored Living, Concrete Craft franchisees are honored by their home franchise concepts parent for doing great work in their local communities. And Priscilla Glidewell of Staten, Oregon is a Budget Blinds franchisee. James and Elaine Trotter of Tampa, Florida. Tammy Connor, Todd and Juliana Carter of Herndon, Virginia. Mark Flood of Oakville, Ontario. And Chuck Yates of Knoxville, all honored by HFC for being wonderful, giving back and caring members of their local communities. And I'm going to encourage Home Franchise Corp to make sure that Franchising Gives Back is aware of this so that their franchisees can participate and get the honors globally at the IFA Fall Conference up in D.C. Paul, that's about it for the front of the house. I don't want to take too much time. We've got two great guests today that we want to spend some time talking with, so I'm going to let you introduce them.
Yep, and I'm going to say, I'm just going to talk about one thing real quick, Stan, before I do that. You talked about, Cheryl Batchelder and creating that culture that at Popeyes that was franchisee centric. And although this doesn't fall into the category of you just can't make this up, I kind of feel that it almost does. And it's coffee calamity. Tim Hortons' parent and franchise owners are in a civil war. This, according to the Toronto Sun. Tim Hortons is losing its flavor faster than a bag of day-olds and a cold coffee. The beleaguered coffee giant is now going to war with its franchise holders. About half of the company's franchisees have joined forces with a prominent member whose license renewal was torpedoed because of his fight with the company. I mean, this isn't stuff that needs to be going on. Certainly, people, get to the table, talk this out, work it out. It's for the good of the entire organization. You just can't make that stuff up, not knowing what people are thinking. Anyway,
and the only ones who win in those deals like that are the lawyers, and that's just nowhere to go.
That's right. Absolutely. And over a renewal. So anyway, It's an interesting article, and sad to say that it's actually happening. Anyway, succeeding where others have failed is the topic of today's Franchise Today show. We have as our guests Alejandra and Luis Font, co-founders of the Camp Trasformation Center, and we're looking to really understand the story of transforming people's lives through the development of a gym franchise that has succeeded where others have failed. Within the past 7 years, Alejandra has led a team in opening nearly 100 camp locations nationally and in Mexico, while Luis has played an important role in the development and expansion of the camp corporate division, which owns and operates numerous gyms, and together with a third co-founder, Dr., and I may get this wrong, Saman Bakhtiar, they've developed the Camp Trasformation Center, a franchise that is groundbreaking fitness concept in an industry, and this was really an interesting fact, Stan, in an industry that generates more than $80 billion U.S. dollars that is annually. Anyway, Alejandra, Luis, welcome to Franchise Today.
Thank you so much. What a wonderful introduction. Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Thank you, guys. It's a pleasure being here with you guys.
Wonderful background. It's always easy when our guests have such a track record of success to say a few kind words. And I loved your co-founder, Sam. I love his comment that I saw a quote online that said, "Success without fulfillment is the ultimate failure." And I had never heard anything like that, and it really just, hit home with me. And it just seems to be, the entire culture, from all the research that I've done and from our great friends at All Points PR that provided us with some press releases and other information. It just seems like the culture is all built upon success and that notion of success. But before we get into that, as Stan, talked to you before the show started, all the guests that we have coming in, never really started out way back when and said, you know what, I'm going to get into franchising. As a matter of fact, last week we had Dr. John Hayes on, who's probably one of the foremost thought leaders on franchising, educators, and everything else under the sun with respect to franchising. And even he didn't start down the path of franchising. So what I'd like you to do, and we could start with Alejandra first, is kind of go back as far as you would like and bring us up to where you are today. And I'm sure the two of you could kind of, bounce back and forth, because I know you're right there in the same location. I believe you are. And
yes.
And give us the story of where you are today from where you started at whatever point you'd like to go back to.
Sure, absolutely. Well, today we are in a position that we, even I think 4 years ago, we never imagined to be at this place. Honestly, the idea of franchising, just like you mentioned, that was never the vision initially. We had, Luis and I, who was my husband, we had been entrepreneurs. Luis had actually owned a Subway when we first got married. And then we ended up selling that, and then we got into a different kind of business. So we were always on our own, but we didn't really find passion in what we were doing. There wasn't really meaning and purpose to what we were doing. It was just a means to make an income. So when we ended up opening the camp, actually at first I became a personal trainer, and I absolutely fell in love with the whole process of seeing a person transform, seeing that I was able to really help them in their life, not just, physically, but I was actually able to make a change in their mental state. And that's when I thought, my God, I need to do this on a big scale, not just one-on-one personal training.
Yeah, I think it was in 2004, right, Debbie, that you we had another business. We're in sales. We were selling household goods. And you developed a huge passion for fitness, and you had a blog, and you were doing videos, just as a hobby, right?
Right.
Teaching people how to eat correctly, how to work out properly, and that was in 2004.
Yeah, and then from that kind of newfound passion that I found, that's how it all really happened. That's really the beginning of the camp.
In 2008, we lost our business with the financial crisis. I think it was 2009, January 2009. And although we didn't have, any income, we had 2 kids, we had a mortgage. It was kind of like a very, difficult time for us. But we saw it as an opportunity to reinvent ourselves. And it was an opportunity for us to follow our passion. And Alejandra, I remember one day we were just talking to each other, and she said, this is what I want to do. Fitness is my passion. This is what I'm going to do. Let's go ahead and start looking at ways where we could develop and build a business around this newfound passion.
How did the name of the camp come into being? And the transformation part's pretty clear to me, and it kind of speaks for itself. Where did the name of the camp come from?
That's a funny story.
Right. we were just throwing around names.
What I remember, it was the Cardio House was the first name that we thought about.
No. The Cardio, a girl that we knew was going to use the Cardio House to open her gym, and we thought that was a very cool name.
Right. Sam wanted to use Fat Camp.
We're like, no, we can't do that.
No, that's not going to be a good name.
Yeah.
And Alejandro just came up. It was Alejandro one day said, the camp.
The camp. Yeah, it was kind of derived from the whole boot camp, name, because that's pretty much the style of our workouts. So obviously I didn't just want to call it the boot camp. So I thought, okay, the camp.
Yes. So, going back to how we started back in 2004, Alejandra, was very passionate about, fitness and started looking really good, herself physically speaking. And I've been overweight all my life, guys. I grew up being obese at the time when I was 14 years old. I'm half Hispanic, by the way. I'm half Venezuelan. And, growing up in a Hispanic family, I don't know if you guys know this, we love to watch people eat. You come over our house, you're going to eat whether you're hungry or not, you're going to eat and drink. So I grew up in that environment. It's a different generation. And by the time I was 14 years old, I was at 200 pounds. And I don't know how I got Alejandra to fall in love with me, but when we got married, and I would think like around 2006, after she was all into fitness, I was at about 250 pounds. And, it created a little bit of friction in our marriage. I just knew that I need to do something about it. I would resent her going to work out. Mm-hmm. But why don't you just go ahead and stay home and have pizza with us and the kids? Right? So Saman Bakhtiar owned a personal training gym here in Chino. He would advertise a lot. So I just went to him. I was kind of fed up with the way I looked and how I felt. I went to him, and he took the time to educate me and teach me how to eat properly, how to work out properly. And I went through that transformation and lost a lot of weight. I got down to like about 180 pounds. And then this is for like around 2007. We lost our business in 2009. We wanted to get into fitness as a business. So we had developed a friendship with Sam, being, his client. And we approached them into opening up a boot camp. Boot camp was a new business model that was just starting up. We saw a huge opportunity there to come into the space, not knowing what or how we were going to do things to build a very prosperous and solid business, but we wanted to help people go through their own transformation. That's something we wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
And so how did that manifest from a personal ambition to an actual location becoming multiple locations? How did it transform? Talk about the transformation from going from a single person trainer to the owner of a business delivering those services to that business growing into multiple units.
Well, absolutely. That's something, I knew just by working with one person and working for someone else, I was very limited as to the people I can help, as to the income I could produce. There was going to be a ceiling that was going to be put on me very quickly. So I knew by doing my own thing and by having a group training, boot camp style training where you could service 20 clients at a time, I could have a prosperous business that way. Of course, marketing was a big part of this. What we have always focused on is the way people feel when they come into our facility. We set ourselves apart because we really try to make a family type of environment at our facility. When people walk into our gym, it's not like your typical gym visit that you would normally do. We really focus on accountability, support, making people feel welcome, making people feel special, creating that like hope for them. So we found a niche in the fitness industry that wasn't being targeted. It was people that haven't really paid attention to their physical appearance or their health over the past many years. Maybe they've never worked out in their lives, or they're 20, 30, 40, 50 pounds overweight, and they don't know how it is to lose the weight. So we're totally different from our competitors because we do focus on this area of the market that is really being underserved. The really obesity.
Yeah. So, back then in 2010 when we decided to open up the first camp, we weren't thinking about building a brand, much less a franchise. What we wanted to do was build a company that was customer-centric. We weren't really sure how we were going to do things, but we knew two things. One, we were going to provide results. We were going to help people lose weight. That was one. And two, we were going to provide an awesome customer experience. And that's what we did. And I think the word just got around, and there's just a lot of people that would come in to the camp. And we just grew from that location that we saw, the void, the opportunity to service, other markets here locally. So the fact that, we only cared about the customer, not so much profits. I don't even remember during our conversations how much money we could make. And by the way, a lot of the profits that we made initially in the company, we reinvested pretty much everything into the company, and everything was towards helping people get results and provide an awesome experience.
What about the footprint of the gym itself? What kind of, there are so many gyms that are, these massive big box locations, and then there are some gyms that you see now like a Curves or something in the neighborhood, inline strip in a shopping center. What's the typical footprint look like for the camp?
So our ideal footprint is about 4,500 square feet. We go into light industrial areas, which is great because it keeps the rent very low. And we drive traffic through, social media marketing, so we don't really need that foot traffic per se. That's why the light industrial really works for us. And it's, just a large space. We don't need like showers or anything, just a bathroom and a large space and an office. That's basically in the lobby area. So it's a low initial investment, and the equipment is also, the cost of the equipment is super low because we don't use like the big, the heavy equipment that you see at some of the big box gyms or even Curves. It's just lightweight, dumbbells and some sleds and just very minimal equipment. It's a lot of the workouts are focused on your own body weight. So.
And so how long was it?
Go ahead, Stan.
I was just going to ask how long it was before you realized that what you had was scalable to the point where you were going to take this thing to a bigger scalable business plan as opposed to, a couple of units. You started growing from being a trainer and just wanting to do the work to then realizing you could make a business, and then from one maybe location to multiple. When did the light bulb go off that this could be something that you rolled out globally?
It went off when, at the beginning we knew we wanted to have multiple locations. I think that was, part of the dream, maybe about around 5 locations and so forth. We saw the opportunity. We noticed the fitness space was underserving a lot of the clients that needed to lose weight. For example, I felt uncomfortable going into a gym. I don't feel good about myself. I couldn't even do 5 or 6, push-ups. So we knew that there was a market out there that was underserved. But also we understood the fact that, people are not really interested in, purchasing, gym memberships or buying supplements or just working out. There's more to that. People want results. We know that. People want to feel it's an awesome experience. People want to feel acknowledged. People want to feel important. People want to feel successful. People want to feel that they belong to a certain community. People want to feel our passion, our love to serve and help. People want to feel motivation, inspiration. People want to feel hope. And, we're talking about emotions. We're talking about feelings. So we knew that our job was not only to provide an awesome workout and a program for them to lose weight, but more importantly, or just as importantly, what they felt while they were going through that transformation. So we saw the results. We saw how people were falling in love with the values of the company, with the principles of the company, with the culture of the company since we started bringing in staff. And we knew we were onto something, so we decided to open up a couple of more locations. Same results. They started growing very, very rapidly. And in, I think it was 2014, out of our Fontana location, a member that had gone through a transformation came to us and said, I want to buy a franchise. Sell me a franchise. And we're like, whoa.
Right.
What? We couldn't believe it. So that's
really
pretty much
interesting.
how, we had probably 5 locations. And somebody came to us, wanted to buy a franchise. At the same time,
wasn't even in the cards at the time.
Yeah.
It wasn't even a consideration.
On the corporate side, we decided to go up to maybe 20 locations. A lot of it had to do that we went to the multi-unit franchise conference, I think in 2005. Guillermo Perales was, I think, nominated for the best franchisee, or he won an award, and he was talking about his background, and that had a huge influence on me. The fact that back then he had maybe 500 or 600, restaurants. And I looked at Alejandra and was like, oh, my God, if he can do it, why can't we have 50 corporate-owned locations? So, that had a lot to do with the fact that corporate grew. But then on the other side, we had a franchise business that was getting ready to take off. And it was primarily clients coming to us and asking
it was 100%.
Yeah.
Because 100% of our franchisees are past clients or staff members.
So all locations right now are owned by ex-clients or ex-staff. We say here at corporate office, we haven't sold one franchise. People come in and have bought. We've never had, a franchise website. We really didn't have a lot of sales. Up until recently. We didn't have a lot of the sales process. People just came in, knocking on our door, wanting to buy a franchise. So we were blessed in that sense.
So before I turn it over to Stan to go to our mid-show break, looking through your website, I mean, obviously you see a lot of the transformation pictures. Listening to the two of you talk, I'm sitting here and I feel like, I'm listening to an infomercial that's talking to me individually, because I'm exactly at that point of being overweight and trying to figure out what to do and not being happy. And then I look through the website and I see the consumer proposition where it says, home of the free 6-week weight loss challenge. And what really hit me was the next quote that said, empowering our community through health and fitness. Real quick before Stan gets to the break, and then we'll talk about the franchise. Tell us what this means for the consumer, for the person like myself sitting here and listening to this, looking at the transformation pictures. I know you talk about hope and stuff like that. Speak to me on this. Tell me what I should be looking for, and if I were to join one of these camps, what I can expect.
Coming from being obese all my life, a lot of it has to do with not really knowing what to do. And so much out there on that $80 billion space that you talked about, there's a lot of stuff that is just gimmicky stuff because, up to the point that before I met Sam, I tried everything. You name any diet, I tried it. I had tried sometimes even getting, people to help you working out, but then they don't, help you with, the food or what to eat, where you take in all these, not that I want to talk bad about, the multi-level marketing industry, but when they give you all these, supplements to suppress your appetite, it boils down to you're not learning, basically, right? How to eat properly. You're not learning how to eat, how to work out properly, right? So, when I met Sam, he was the person who taught me, the foods that I need to eat if I wanted to lose weight and the types of workouts that I needed to do if I wanted to lose weight. Because some people don't have to lose weight, right? So we're talking about weight loss. So, I went through that period of transformation, and that kind of, opened my eyes and kind of lit that light bulb, right? It's about educating people on how to eat properly if you want to lose weight, and educating people how to work out properly if you want to lose weight. And that's basically what we do here at the camp. Sometimes I'd say that it's a good analogy for a client that you're going to come in, and it could be kind of like going to, university or maybe Stanford of, the fitness industry, because you're going to get educated, and that light bulb is going to light up, and those chains that have been constraining you to being overweight all your life, you kind of break them. Boom, right? Because you go, now I get it. Right. Now I know exactly what to do, that even if I lose the weight and maybe later on I get a little bit lazy or life just happens, I can always go back, and I know exactly what I need to do to lose those extra 10 pounds that I gained. Hopefully that
makes it sound real easy, Paul.
Exactly, though. It's not, injections. It's not, all these pills that you're popping. It's just a matter of, we teach our clients how to eat the proper food. That's one of the biggest components of our program. And then, of course, the working out, whether it be working out with us or, running a few miles every day. You have to eat properly, and you have to move every single day.
Yeah.
And that's the key to weight loss. And that's what people begin to understand after they go through our program.
Well, Paul, half of my Jimmy John's is still sitting here. I didn't get to finish it before lunch. It's going right in the trash. I'm done. You're listening to Franchise Today, now in its 9th season of podcasting. I'm Stan Friedman, along with Paul Segreto. Today we're talking to Alejandra and Luis Font, the co-founders of the Camp Trasformation Centers. Franchise Today is brought to you by the Franchise Foundry, where Paul and his team have been bringing emerging brands to market for more than 30 years. The Foundry fosters healthy, sustainable growth for their clients, the kind that comes from experience. The Franchise Foundry provides both coaching and consulting, a hybrid approach, delivering more effective solutions for both the franchisor's corporate team as well as for their franchisees. The Franchise Foundry team is rich in practical, hands-on experience and expertise with general business management, operational and change management, digital marketing, and, of course, franchise recruitment and development. Plus, the Foundry team can also assist with creating roadmaps for potential mergers and acquisitions and provide you with the guidance needed to navigate them. Learn more about the Franchise Foundry along with their expanding list of clients at www.franchisefoundry.com. Franchise Today also brought to you by FRM Solutions, offering best-in-class CRM and document management software designed specifically for franchising. FRM empowers real-time business intelligence, communication, and collaboration between all members of the franchisor's team and their prospective as well as existing franchisees. This enables franchisors to simply and seamlessly track, access, and manage all messages to and from prospective and existing franchisees, including text. Legal and compliance is simplified as well, with FRM's document management, and even site visits can be digitally facilitated and scored using FRM. Make today the day you give FRM a look, and assure that all of your candidate and franchisee correspondence, including texts, are being permanently tracked and stored in candidate and franchisee records. FRM even provides state-of-the-art digital experiences for your prospective franchisees, replacing old-style virtual brochures. No long-term contracts, multiple upgrades each year, no excuses, just solutions on the web at frmsolutions.com. So we're going to talk a bit at this segment and going forward about the business side of the business, because it would appear to me, as I know a little bit about the Camp Trasformation Center from just serving you as your just did a commercial for FRM, and thankfully you're one of our clients. But I've gotten to know Brian Balconi. And so as Brian is the president of your company, it would seem that you came to a place where you not only had a great concept and passion, which is very evident in how you deliver it. I mean, we can hear the passion in your voice. But then you come to a place where now you're going to grow a franchise company And that means professional management and scaling the business and bringing systems and tools into the business as well. Talk a little bit about how that happened and the growth of the franchise side of the business.
Sure. Yeah, that was actually, it's funny because we, between Luis, Sam, and myself, we love to, get our hands dirty. We love to just, work crazy hours. We don't have a problem with that. We have like an unstoppable work ethic. So bringing people in was difficult for us because we're used to just doing it all. We wanted, obviously we have a team at the gyms and stuff, but on the corporate level, we're used to handling it all. And even though we may not have, all the answers, we'll figure it out, and we always have. And that's really how we were able to grow the company. But it did come to a point where once we officially became a franchise, we're like, okay, we really do need some professional, help. We need someone that has a background in this, that knows exactly what they're doing, because obviously franchising can be very complicated and there's a lot of laws and everything. So we wanted to make sure that we're doing everything by the book. And, we got a headhunter and interviewed a few people, and Brian was a great fit. For us, him or a person fitting into our culture was very important because that's a huge part of our company, really, of who we are. The culture is very important to us, and he fit in perfectly. And it's been a great, journey with him. It's been probably a good, 8 months or so. So it's been amazing with him. We're extremely happy to have him on our side, and our team, the team that we've been able to formulate with his help, has been, I think we offer some amazing support and service to our franchisees, and that ultimately is our biggest, is what we want to accomplish. We really want to have happy franchisees, and we know that they will be happy if they're profitable and if they get our support.
Yeah, we're entrepreneurs at heart, but it got to the point where it's getting very difficult to manage the company, and then that's when we decided to bring in a professional that could help us scale up the business and babysit us, right? Because we like to do, we take action. We're at 100 miles an hour, but, this used to be a mom and pop, I would say, company, and now at 100 locations, definitely we needed help, and we're lucky to have them here.
So tell us about the day in the life of a franchisee. What would that person do during the day, during the week, during the month in overseeing their business?
Okay, great. So most of our franchisees, well, some of them have multiple locations, so obviously their day would be different from a person that has one location and is operating it on basically managing the location. But the cool thing is that when you're on your own, when you're a business owner, you can pretty much dictate your schedule. Obviously, we encourage the owners that have just one location to really be present, be on the ground, be with their clients, connecting with their clients, because our business is about people, and that is the best way to make sure the culture in your location is amazing, and make sure the sales are high. When people are happy, they buy, and they refer friends. So when the owner is there managing it, we see some great results. They're also responsible for, mentoring their staff, making sure that the classes are up to par. It's a very fun and dynamic environment in our gyms, as you could probably imagine. It's a lot of high fives, a lot of hugs, people reaching their goals, maybe people, counseling people on how to, if they're at a plateau, for example, counseling them on how to surpass that plateau. And then, of course, managing the business, checking the sales, making sure people are doing what they're supposed to do, your team. So there's a big aspect of fun and excitement with, of course, as in any business, they have to be responsible for all the day-to-day, the operations, paying the bills, making sure their team is, efficient and on time, and et cetera.
So who is your ideal franchise candidate?
Our ideal candidate is someone that has a passion to serve. Helping people is what we do. That's what sets us apart from other gyms. So someone that wants to serve. The we have a lot of franchisees that have come from within the camp, like as far as staff members, so they already have a passion for fitness, and that's great. But then we also have people, franchisees that were in the corporate sector, were accountants, were police officers. They don't have a background in fitness, but they still do have a passion to serve. So as long as they're able to, as long as it's within their DNA to help people and to serve people and to want to make a difference and to be able to lead their group to make a difference, as long as they're able to inspire, that's the type of an entrepreneur, we like to look for, or a franchisee we look for.
Yeah, one of the things that, we look for is for people that are, one, coachable, understand people, love people. And one of the things that we teach is that fitness is the product, it's not the business. Fitness, working out, losing weight, that is the product. The business is people, dealing with people, training people, leading people. And when you have franchisees or potential franchisees that understand this and are willing to serve and help other people, they're going to do well with the camp.
Let's talk about how you're developing. As I look at your location map, obviously California is at the top of the list of locations, but I see that you've got several places like Florida where you've got a footprint or Arizona that is underway with multiple locations in place. Are you doing area development? Are you doing multi-unit? How are you going to market? And in places like Georgia, where I see just one location in suburban Suwanee, is that an area developer that's going to be opening more, or how's that working? What's the go-to-market strategy?
Yeah, this is crazy, and this is something that we didn't even realize it until we started interviewing, our president of the franchise companies, because Brian brought it up and some other people brought it up. Texas, the locations in Texas, in Georgia, some other, Arizona, these are all clients of the camp here in California that decided to move and develop those areas. So what happened was that we sold out pretty much Southern California very rapidly, right? And there was no markets, locations to open up here. So a lot of our clients decided to move to Texas, to Arizona, to Georgia, and open up those locations. So it's
that speaks volumes. That speaks volumes. I mean, if somebody's going to pick up and move across the country, they have to really, really, really be committed to the brand. And so now when you have these people who are pioneering new markets like Georgia, are they committed to multiple locations, or are they just committed to the one and others will follow?
Yes, some people are committed to multiple locations. Some are just one. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And then keep in mind that most of our clients, like Alejandra said, they're not sophisticated, franchise operators. So, we've helped people lose weight and go through a transformation. We're talking physically speaking, probably personally, emotionally speaking. And now we're in a position, to help people go through a, professional transformation to a financial transformation, if you will. So that's also a very gratifying part of the business. But I would say that a large portion of our franchisees were not sophisticated business people. They're going through their own development process as well, too.
So from a business model standpoint, are there various profit centers? I guess the bottom line is, how does a franchisee make money?
Yeah, absolutely. There are. So we have obviously the memberships, regular memberships, monthly memberships. And then we also have a supplement line, supplement and apparel, which is, a lot of locations are producing about 20% of their sales come from the supplements and the apparel. And then within the membership, we have different types of membership. So it's not that we're only geared for weight loss. We do have types of memberships that are for people that want to increase muscle mass or just maintain their weight. So there's several different programs that we have. But the main thing is really, everything that encompasses the membership, and then, of course, the supplements. Supplements is a huge part of the revenue and the apparel.
Very interesting. With so many different, fitness centers out there, it's always interesting to find what somebody's doing new, and then also to see, such a rapid, growth curve that you guys are on is really, my hat's off to you. It's just phenomenal.
Thank you.
I mean, looking at, your franchisee testimonials, it seems like the culture is certainly in place. And of course, the results obviously are there, seeing all the customer testimonials as well. And before we go towards the end of the show, I want to give a little bit of credit, obviously, to the third co-owner, Sam, who's not here today. Tell us what Sam's role is and how his experience has been brought into the equation.
Yeah, absolutely. So, initially I wanted to partner with Sam because of the fact that he had, at the time, 20 years of experience in the fitness industry. He got into fitness at the tender age of 18, imagine. So he had a lot of years, a lot of experience. He was running already his own boutique personal training gym. He is awesome. He is amazing at the marketing. He focuses all his efforts on marketing, and then also he comes up with all our new products, new programs. He's kind of like the creative behind all of the different things that we do, because we're very much an out-of-the-box type of business. A lot of other gyms copy what we do, and he's really the one that comes up with all these crazy ideas that, most of the time really stick. And so that's what he does. He does all the marketing and all the new products.
And we learned a lot from him, too. And it's amazing that we agree so much on every aspect of the business and, providing an awesome experience in customer service. Even before we partnered up and we were clients of him, I remember, we became friends with Sam, and he's been a professional bodybuilder. He's an expert in fitness and helping people go through a transformation. But I remember one day I walked into the gym for my workout, and he's wearing a suit, and then his manager's wearing a suit. And he's the type of person who just hates wearing a suit. I'm like, wow, man, what's going on? And why are you wearing a suit? And he said, man, I just went to this conference, and somebody suggested that our clients could probably like seeing us wearing a suit, so I'm willing to do it for our clients. So that kind of had a good impact on me, too, even before we decided to partner up, that he's willing also, to do everything, whatever it takes to have clients happy and have a wonderful experience, whatever it takes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what's really cool is that we, the three of us are very different, but the three of us get along very well. We, obviously we don't always see eye to eye, but when it comes to our work ethic and doing whatever it takes, we completely see eye to eye. So, and serving our client, of course, we have that same passion of serving people. So it's a beautiful combination. You don't often see partnerships that get along so well. It's been almost 8 years, and there have been zero issues.
And the more we grow and the more successful we become, the harder we work. Mm-hmm. So we've been blessed with this partnership, absolutely.
Well, certainly Sam seems to have a commitment. Hey, Stan, did you know that Sam is the only person who has won a first-place title in bodybuilding in every single weight class?
Mm-hmm.
Now, you talk about somebody who's passionate.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, before we run out of time, I wanted to ask you to help the audience understand what kind of a financial requirement would be involved in becoming a member of the Camp Trasformation family. What kinds of fees are associated with opening? Can you spend a moment on that?
Sure, absolutely. So liquid assets is like $70,000, and then to open a camp, with all the bells and whistles, it comes out to about $170,000. That's already with the initial, 70 included. So with everything included, it's about $170,000. The franchise fee is $40,000. That's already included in the $170,000, and the royalty is 5%. So, if you compare it to other gyms, it's like ridiculously low in comparison to other, what you might consider our competitors out there.
The one thing I know is that many people think that, it's an oversaturated space. There are just so many gyms. And we talk often with people that are in the healthcare and in the elder care business. And again, everyone thinks that that's an oversaturated marketplace. But it's only in our minds that that's the case. When you look at the numbers like Paul shared at the beginning of the program about how large and how big the appetite is, if you don't mind the pun, for health and wellness, there are far more people out there that are looking for help and service in this space. And so I don't think we're anywhere near saturation when it comes to all the niche pieces and parts of health, wellness, and fitness. And I think that what you bring to this conversation, which was evident to me today, is an incredible level of passion, and your franchisees obviously share that with the willingness to pack and go and to go across the country so they could own one of these. I mean, you can't make that up. That speaks volumes about your business and your business model and how you run your business. In the space of time left to us, we'd be remiss if we didn't ask you to help the audience figure out how to find you beyond today's conversation. So maybe upcoming programs like the International Franchise Expo, or where can people find you next, and where can they find you on the web or through email?
Sure. Our franchise web address is thecampfranchise.com. And the best email would be Krista. Let me just make sure.
You're going to have to spell
Krista, that. Okay. It's KRISTAPEREZ, Krista Perez, at thecamptc, that's T as in Tom, C as in Charlie.com. And she's responsible for our franchise development. And as far as our upcoming show, I
think we're going to be in New York very soon. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The International Franchise Expo in New York. I'm looking forward to seeing you there. And your website is just phenomenal. There's a ton of information on the website that can help the audience find you between now and then. Paul, any parting thoughts?
I'm going to go to the Humble location, which is not far from my house, and take a look at it. I've been inspired today, and not only by what you've been saying, what I've been reading online, and I imagine this message just getting in front of people is going to drive your continued success along with the results that you've been achieving. Again, I just think it's phenomenal, and I really appreciate you sharing us with your story, because, you know, developing a culture the way that it appears that your culture has been developed is a testament to really working with and being focused on people more than anything else. And of course, as we started out, you know, today's show talking about what was going on in another franchise, organization, it's just those type of things just can't happen. And it seems like you're definitely carving the right trail.
Thank you so much. That's great that you're going to be going to Humble. That's awesome. We have a new program starting on Monday, so get in there quick so maybe you can sign up for that.
Yeah, you know,
I am going to waddle my way over there.
You can't see Paul and me, but I think Luis said it at the top of the hour, you know, that he's half Venezuelan and half Latino, and the Latinos love to eat, well, Italians named Segreto, and Jewish people named Friedman. Yeah. Well, we have that same problem.
Yep.
Well, Paul,
maybe even more so when we're together.
Yeah, I think maybe we get together and do a workout instead of a pastrami and rye when we go to New York. What do you think?
Well, maybe a workout and a pastrami and rye stand. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, we will be in New York, and Katz's Deli will be calling us. Well, Alejandra and Luis, I really appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule to be with us here on Franchise Today. As Stan said at the beginning of the show, this is our 9th year of Franchise Today. and podcasting and hundreds of guests like yourself is really a testament to where we've evolved over the years, and being considered one of the top podcasts in franchising. And I certainly appreciate you being part of that now, and I look forward to meeting you both in person in New York. I will be the guy that will be peeking out behind the banner and saying, do I go up to them or not? Maybe if I drop a few pounds before then, I won't feel so intimidated.
No, please, no. That's crazy. Of course. Please come up to us. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for having us. It was a pleasure being here with you.
Yes, thank you so much.
We appreciate it.
Thank you, and thanks again.
Well, Stan,
okay.
Thank you. Another great show, another great story, succeeding where others have failed. And I just keep looking at this quote by the third co-founder, Sam, who I'd love to talk to. Success without fulfillment is the ultimate failure. I can't get enough of that quote, Stan.
No, it says a lot, doesn't it? I mean, very few words. That's kind of the way great mission statements ought to read. Less is more. You get it out there, and there's no mistaking that message. That's spot on.
When they were talking about, people having an opportunity for a franchise and moving across the country, right away I thought of an old friend of ours, Doc Cohen, and how that was his first franchise story, moving across the country to take advantage of an opportunity. Just tremendous foresight, huh?
Yes, it is. And, that passion for a brand, I mean, that just speaks volumes to me. How do you do that without having the fire in your belly for something that speaks again to the concept's validity? Somebody who wants to open a gym and is already in California and finds that they can't open one of these can go find another brand. Well, in this case, it sounds like not happening. I'm packing and going where I can go to have one of these. You couldn't ask for validation better than that, could you?
I can't think of a better validation if somebody's willing to, load up the truck and move to Beverly, like the Beverly Hillbillies. Definitely. I mean, if you're willing to do that, that brand has got something. There's no doubt.
You bet.
There's no doubt. Maybe from today's segment of Franchise Today, our good friends at Tim Hortons could learn a few things. And
I would hope so.
It's just.
Yeah, I mean, talking about Cheryl Batchelder at the beginning of the hour, listening to these wonderful people and talking about the growth and the development of their brand. Somehow that Tim Hortons story just didn't belong on today's program, but you can't make it up, Paul, so you got to talk about it, right?
Well, at least we weren't talking about Kentucky Fried Chicken and fried chicken scented suntan lotion. You can't make that up, and I don't think that'll ever. Well, I don't know. Reba McEntire as the Colonel, I think, might fall in that same category.
I'm not going there.
Do something different. Yeah, not going there. Well, anyway, thanks again, Stan. Until next week, my name is Paul Segreto, wishing you the best, the very best, in this great thing we call franchising. And Franchise Today is out. Take us home, Badlands.
Franchise pros, Stan the Man, Paul Segreto. Time to show you the way of franchising today. Hey, do you possess the spirit of an entrepreneur? Or lay your business plan down like a rug or a floor? Or maybe you have a dream of opening a chain of delis, or whatever passion lights that pilot light under your belly. Or do you want to start a business, fam, using the proven trademark from another brand? And grow together and expand like a rage of fire, from a single to a multi-unit empire. Well, pay attention to this podcast that you hear is streaming in HD, so fine-tune both of your ears. And Stan and Paul lays down the law. Whether you want to be a franchisee or a franchisor, it's all about sustainable growth, the sensible franchising, proven concepts, the smart enterprising. So use your left and right side of your brain and absorb this knowledge here. Franchising today, Badlands, baby. Franchising today, sustainable growth, the sensible franchising. Franchise today, sustainable growth, the sensible franchising. Franchising today. Franchising today. Franchising today. Yeah.
When you're part of a military family, you understand sacrifice and support. At American Public University, we honor your dedication by extending our military tuition savings to your extended family. Parents, spouses, legal partners, siblings, and dependents all qualify for APU's preferred military rate of just $250 per credit hour for undergraduate and master's level programs. American Public University. Value for the whole family. Learn more at apu.apus.edu/military.